The regular season for the Chicago Bulls is almost ending. Only two games left on this year's season. And then on this episode, we got to talk about the current state of the Chicago Bulls. Though the Chicago Bulls are closer to clinching their home play-in spot, the chances of moving up in the standings are very, very slim right now. Y'all know we're going to talk about it and break it all down, but you got to hear the music first.
Cognac, gang.
Shy Bulls Podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on today's daily episode. If you tuned in with me today, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell as well, man. Hey, the Chicago Bulls been playing some exciting basketball since after the All-Star break. A lot of good wins, a lot of good efforts, and some of those losses and some questionable decisions as well that had a lot of Bulls fans going back and forth with a difference in opinion. But what we know is where we are right now. We got 2 games left in this season in the Chicago Bulls. They just got to simply take care of business. And what I've been saying about the Chicago Bulls, just simply focus on yourself. Don't think about nobody else. Don't think about going to old girl spot. Just stay right at home. Kick your feet up with your old lady. It's okay. It's okay. Don't be greedy. You got one good at home. Don't be greedy. Just chill out. But hey, the Chicago Bulls, man, they currently sit at that 9th spot looking like they're getting ready to go out there and host up that home play-in game. And what it appears, if things kind of remain the same, will be another matchup versus the Miami Heat, which will bring the total on the season to 4 games versus the Miami Heat. Now, if you're talking to me, I'm looking at it like, hey, beating a team 4 times, whoo, that's a difficult task, especially when you talk about the youthfulness of the Chicago Bulls. And I know there's a lot of Chicago Bulls fans that have questions about head coach Billy Donovan and his ability to coach this team up. And when we compare Billy Donovan with coach over there, Eric Spoelstra, I'm pretty sure the majority will say that, hey, Eric Spoelstra is the better coach. But it not only does come down to coaching, it does come down to the players that are actually on the court. But for the Chicago Bulls to give up that 9th seed, they will just simply have to lose the rest of their games, and the Miami Heat will have to win out. And I don't necessarily think the Chicago Bulls are going to lose both of the games, but you never know. I'm just saying, it's the NBA, and the Chicago Bulls could completely just punt the season on us, right? Like a huge smack in the face and just say, to hell with it. We did what we did. We seen enough. It's time to go and try to improve the odds in the draft. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen for the Chicago Bulls, but hey, I've seen crazier things in the NBA, especially these last few years, and especially the last 2 to 3 weeks. It's crazy. But right now, the Chicago Bulls currently have a 82% chance to hold on to the 9th seed, which is a strong chance to pretty much just give yourself an opportunity to host that 4th play-in game at the crib. Now, the Chicago Bulls do have an opportunity to move up in the standings, but those chances are very, very slim, and we'll talk about that here shortly. But right now, we have a matchup tonight versus the Washington Wizards, who are 2-8 in their last 10, and they not a good team. So the Chicago Bulls got to make sure they don't come in and play around with this. Go out there and spank these guys on the backside so y'all can just chill in the 4th quarter and keep your fresh legs for that early matchup on Sunday. They got us watching early Sunday basketball again, which is good for me. I love those games at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Watching my Bulls, getting all the emotions out the way, and then continuing on with my day. That's how I like it. But tonight's win will secure the 9th seed for the Chicago Bulls because they already have the tiebreaker over the Miami Heat, and they'll be good. So I say, go out there, put the foot up the backside, and let's just go ahead and move on into the play-in or into that last game to see how the chips are going to fall. But I will say this. if the Chicago Bulls do face off versus the Miami Heat for the fourth time this season, they beat them 3 times this season, and that was already a tall task, especially the way that the last game started for the Chicago Bulls and the uncertainty that we had after the first quarter. Like, hold on, how is this game going to go? Hold on, y'all mean to tell me y'all sat the Chicago Bulls for the Cleveland Cavs to come out to play like this? Ain't no way y'all going to do this to us. But the Bulls got it done. They figured it out, and hey, after that game versus the Miami Heat, Eric Spoelstra had some things to say about the Chicago Bulls, pretty much saying if the Chicago Bulls face off versus the Miami Heat again, he believes the Heat will come out the better team in that matchup. Bulletin board material, anyone. Bulletin board material, anyone. You talking to me, I'm a competitor. I don't like when you talk greasy, because when you talk greasy, I got to come show you something. But my intentions are being the eighth seed, which I think the Chicago Bulls still have a chance of getting, but those chances are very, very slim, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, according to playoff status, the Atlanta Hawks hold their own destiny. All they need is one more win. And if they win tonight versus the 76ers, we can kiss the eighth seed goodbye. Yes, the Atlanta Hawks have to win one more game, which they face the 76ers tonight. And if the Atlanta Hawks win that game tonight versus the 76ers, Chicago Bulls fans, just get ready to see the Miami Heat at the United Center for a fourth matchup as the 9th seed in the play-in. And if you lose, you're going home. Which is why I've been saying I believe that 8th seed was the sweet spot for the Chicago Bulls. But hey, you know what I'm saying? They took some of those tough losses, you know what I'm saying, down the stretch, and made some decisions down the stretch. And this is where we are. This is where we are. So that's just how we got to handle it. This is just how we got to move. And we got to make sure we good, man. We just got to make sure we good. But I just got to ask one question. Do y'all think that sitting the starters cost the Chicago Bulls this opportunity? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But hey, what about, I got one more question for y'all. Y'all let me know down in the comment box. Do y'all think that if the Hawks win tonight, the Bulls secure the 9th seed tonight, y'all think they're going to sit these players again at the last game of the season versus the 76ers? Hey, how much confusion is that going to cause amongst Bulls Nation? My goodness. Now, we talk about moving into the 8th seed potentially, and I talked about it just briefly with the Atlanta Hawks. Pretty much all they got to do is go ahead and win. They control their own destiny. And yes, the Atlanta Hawks still have a matchup versus the Orlando Magic, but if they win tonight, it's just like it is what it is, right? So you got to see what the Atlanta Hawks are going to do. Like I said, it's the NBA. Nothing in the NBA is guaranteed. And you just got to see what happens tonight. They can very well go out there and go crazy. Man, hey, I ain't going to lie to y'all, man. I ain't going to lie to y'all. The Cavs game when the Bulls sat them, man, it could have been an interesting thing just to see if they would have possibly won that game and won this Heat game, how the odds or how the chips will be laying at the table right now. It would be very, very interesting, to say the least, to see that. But I ain't going to lie to you. I have an interesting thing that I'm thinking about if it all plays out this way. Hear me out. Just give me 1 second to go just veer all left and just take y'all down to my nonsense. And y'all let me know if this is nonsense or is it very intriguing, because I find it very, very intriguing. I find this scenario for the Chicago Bulls to be very, very intriguing. You end the season as the 9th seed, you go and face the Miami Heat, you beat the Miami Heat. The Orlando Magic as the 7th seed beat the Atlanta Hawks, and the Chicago Bulls for the 8th seed face the Atlanta Hawks in a matchup that is going to be off the charts. But I'm thinking a little bit deeper. I'm thinking Montes Buzelis, who's a starter now, facing off versus Zachary Rishisha, who Montes Buzelis said, I'll bust his ass any day of the week. I'm a better player than him. I'm a better man than him. He pretty much came at that man Smitty for my people from Chicago. Now let me know if I'm going too far down into the rabbit hole. let me know. But it's an interesting thing that I would love to see. I'm just saying. I still want to get the AC, don't get me wrong. But I would love to see that matchup versus Montez Buzelis and Zachary Richardson. Ooh, because Montez starting now. And that young man been balling and he can't duck the smoke because the chips will be all on the table. So let me know, how excited would you be if the Chicago Bulls and the Atlanta Hawks somehow meet up so we can see Montez versus Zachary Richardson? Let me know. Let me know. I'm thinking a little bit too deep into this. Maybe I'm jumping too ahead of my skis like I've been telling y'all not to do. I know we still got to take it one game at a time, but if we keeping it a buck, sometimes you just can't think in the moment. That's just me. I can't always think in the moment, but I can reel myself back in and be like, all right, we got the Wizards tonight. And we got, we just got to take care of business. So I'm going to reel myself back in and just focus on tonight. But hey, y'all let me know y'all thoughts about that, man. And the Bulls, last point before I move on, I want to talk about Taj Gibson before we get out of here. Last point, do y'all think that the Bulls are actually happy that they're in this position to potentially face off versus the Cavs, who they may feel is a better matchup in round one? Let me know, because that's interesting. I've been thinking a lot about this stuff. As you can tell. But before we get up out of here, I want to talk about Taj Gibson, man. Taj Gibson the other night played his 1,000th game in the NBA. And shout out to the Charlotte Hornets first-time head coach, newly head coach, and pretty much giving Taj Gibson his flowers. And Taj Gibson is one of those Chicago Bulls legend that everybody rooted for. If you was a Taj Gibson hater, I'm glad I don't know you, because I don't know anybody that hated on Taj Gibson. If you hated on Taj Gibson, I am excited I don't know you, because what is there not to like about Taj Gibson and his ability to come out there and rebound and lead and hit jump shots and make shots in the paint and be active on the defensive side and be the ultimate competitor and embody what the city of Chicago love when we talk about young players coming into the team, developing as a good player and thriving as a player to bring us meaningful games in the playoffs. So big shout out to Taj Gibson. Just want to definitely make sure I touch on that point just to show him love, because he is a Bulls legend, one of the players that I grew up watching and really, really enjoyed his progression. And I'm happy that he's still around in this league. He's not being a problem. He's just being the ultimate teammate and the vet that young teams absolutely need on their teams. This is what me, Steve-O, C-Dub, Big Kevin Hayes, we all talked about over there on NFL Central. So if you want more basketball stuff, go check it out. But we talked about all this youthfulness coming into the league without good, solid veterans around the team as those young players and those young teams are developing. And then you start seeing nonsense. You're starting to see things that's happened with certain players off the court that you wouldn't necessarily see if they had a veteran to just wrap their arm around them, you know what I'm saying, just to kind of show them the way. Sometimes those things do happen. But I believe it's that needs to come back in there, and the league needs to embrace their veterans who have put in blood, sweat, and tears to help build this game to the level that it's at now. So respect to Taj Gibson. Shout out to you, Bulls legend. And I can't wait till we hear when you announce your retirement, because I'm going to be right here on Shy Bulls podcast showing Taj Gibson a lot of love, just like we did Derrick Rose recently and Joakim Noah recently. So shout out to you, man. Appreciate y'all. But that is it for me, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode. Make sure you let me know your thoughts and everything down below. It sounded like I was about to bust a rap, right? But I'm not. I'm about to get up out of here. But before you go, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell, man. We will be live tonight. I don't know if I'm going to pop in. My mom's is coming to visit. I don't know if I'm going to be on the live. I might pop in for a little bit, but C-Dub and the fellas will be live versus the Wizards to cheer on the Chicago Bulls and get more excited and try to grab more momentum heading on into the future. But we appreciate y'all, man. Make sure y'all always see red, and y'all already know I'm going to catch y'all on the next for sure.
Cognac.